and welcome to our crafting session this evening. My name's Jenny McCormack and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. Excuse me, and I'm based in the market town of Brackley, which is in Northamptonshire in the UK. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've had a good day if you're watching in the evening, and if you're watching in the morning or afternoon, I hope you have a good day ahead of you. It's been a bit cooler today here in the UK. Definitely signs of autumn somewhat rapidly approaching. So today we are going to look at a kit. It's a brand new kit to me. It came out here in the UK just a couple of weeks ago, and it is a Christmas card kit. I've not seen the contents in person, so I'm just going to give this a go and see what we find. So let's open this up. So I have put a link on the screen that will take you to the kit itself if that's of interest. Let me just tip this out. And it comes in the cardboard box, but obviously it's shrink wrapped inside to keep everything safe and secure. So we have a stamp set. Let's have a look at the sentiments on the stamp set. I have to take my glasses off. Celebrate the season, all is cozy and bright. May this holiday warm your heart. Wishing you a Merry Christmas. Aren't you glad it's Christmas? And that's orange. Orange, you glad it's Christmas. Bit of a play on words. And then Happy Christmas and a joyous New Year. So you get the stamp set and an ink block. And this is Poppy Parade. So nice bright red. And then let us open the kit itself. So there are instructions, and they're pictorial instructions. So you can just literally follow the pictures rather than full written instructions. And I can see that the envelopes are, as always, printed with a nice design too. So this would be a great way, hi Alison, to get you started for some, dare I say it, Christmas crafting. And if you've never done your own handmade cards before, this would be a great way to get into those. So let's have a look. So we've got some sheets of printed images that are either die cut or have adhesive on the back. So these have adhesive on the back, so you don't need to attach glue. And we've got these little poinsettias, and we've got some oranges. Hi Trudy, thanks for joining us. We have some dimensionals for lifting the elements up on foam pads. Oh, sorry about that reflection. So here we have the envelopes, and they're printed with this orange and the pine cone. And let's see, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So this kit will make 12 cards. It's £22 for the whole kit, so less than £1 a card. But when you've finished, you will still have the stamps, and the stamps are typically worth between £8 and £10. You'll have a block and an ink pad, and you'll probably have some other elements left over as well. So there's some baker's twine, for example. Just gonna shut the door before the dog starts barking. She's in a playful mood. So we have 4 sheets of these, and these have obviously got one set for each card. We have a series of die cuts for the sentiments, 6, 8, 10, 12, and there's 2 spare. And then we have the card bases. So the card bases are pre-printed with this lovely foliage, the pine cones, and this gold foiling. If you can see that, oh, hopefully you can, like so. And I'm just going to see if they are the same. Yes, they're the same right the way through. So very typically in our kits there are 2 or more designs, but this is designed obviously to get you up and running with your Christmas cards, so these cards are all the same. Obviously you can vary the sentiments by choosing different stamps. And let's have a look at the instructions. So with all the instructions, there are 2 QR codes. One is tells you about some stamping basics, and the other one is detailed instructions, so video instructions when you scan this code underneath for this particular kit. So if you're not very good with printed instructions, or you just want to see quickly how they're put together, you can just scan that QR code with your phone. That will take you to the video and you can watch that. So this, I would say, is would be a great kit for beginners because it has everything you need and it's very simple layout. Obviously you can change what you do with the components, so you don't have to use 2 of the orange slices and the little cinnamon stick. You could just use 1. You could do really any combination that you wanted. You could add extra elements, or you could add some basic plain cards and add any spare elements to that. So what I'm going to do to start with is just stamp all of the sentiments so that you can see them, and then we'll pop a card together. So this, as I say, is the base card, just really pretty, and it's white on the inside, so it's all ready for you to write your sentiment or add your stamp sentiment inside. Just going to leave that there. Hopefully you can see some of that. I'm just going to use this piece of cardboard as a base, and this is the piece I was using yesterday for my sample, so I'll just use the back of that, and I'm going to just use my own Poppy Parade ink pad, just going to keep that one nice and fresh, sealed up, that's the word. So this Poppy Parade in here in these berries, but obviously you could also use early espresso, you could use evening evergreen if you wanted to. I'm not sure how strong this Poppy Parade ink pad is, so let's just have a look. I'm just going to stamp up each of these in turn. Let's see how good this ink pad is. Looks like it's probably okay. So we've got Celebrate the Season, and then this one here is All is Cozy and Bright. I quite like the informal style of the font. Let me just bring that up to the screen to put my glasses on so I can see what you can see, like so. Okay, so All is Cozy and Bright. Let's put that back where it came from. And often people will have favourite sentiments at Christmas. Obviously this is a worldwide kit. You can, I believe, still get it in French and German. This is obviously very much a sentiment for the American market. May this holiday warm your heart, as they use holidays as an expression for the Christmas break. Okay, so this is the 4th of 6 sentiments that you get with the set. So this says, wishing you a Merry Christmas. That's quite a nice typeface as well, if you can see that, if it's too close. So if you've joined us since the beginning, do say hi, let me know that you're here. We're just opening a Christmas card kit. Oops, put my finger in that. It's called Cozy and Bright. It makes 12 Christmas cards. And then this is the pun. Or aren't you glad it's Christmas? I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything at all. Okay, and then the final one. So what I like to do with all my new stamp sets is stamp all of the images out, including the sentiments. That allows you to check that there's no faults on the stamp set. That does happen very occasionally, not very often, but it can happen. And you want to find out sooner rather than later. You don't want to buy a kit that you're going to use next Christmas and then discover that there's a stamp missing or there's a fault on a stamp, and then try and get it replaced next Christmas. Might be a little bit more tricky because our kits are only available for a limited amount of time. So I'm not sure which sentiment I'm going to use. I've got Happy Christmas and a Joyous New Year. So while I've got that stamp out and I've got these elements here, I'm just going to stamp a couple. And I do recommend stamping your sentiments on your die cuts while they're still in the piece of card, because I find if you separate them out, that's when they either get damaged or they go missing. Whereas if you leave them in here, and also it's a lot easier to see where you're stamping than if you pop it out and you're just trying to stamp on a, you know, I know it's the same area, but psychologically. Okay, so I would carry on with those. I think I would probably stamp that sentiment, wishing you a Merry Christmas, and probably celebrate the season. I wouldn't use May This Holiday Warm Your Heart unless I was sending it to an American, and I might stamp 1 or 2 of the Aren't You Glad It's Christmas. I think somebody might think I've gone a bit doolally. Okay, so let's have a look. So those are my die cuts ready. So I can use the pictures. I don't think I'll need them really, but it tells you what you need for each card, and that is your card base, 2 of the oranges. So let's take a larger one, and the cinnamon stick, like so. Obviously you don't have to use all of these on each card, you can just use an element. So these are stickers, the smaller ones, so I'm not going to peel these off just yet. And then they've got some little dimensionals that we're going to use for the backs, and obviously our sentiment. So the first thing they say is to stamp the sentiment, and then the second thing is to take the smaller orange and place it on your cards. Now you can follow the placement exactly, or you can do your own thing. So for this card, I'm going to follow it fairly accurately. So I'm going to take one of those and pop that here. And I have to say, I almost wanted to smell oranges and cinnamon when I opened this up. Okay, this one is going to go there. And in fact, you may or may not remember, if you followed me or you followed Stampin' Up a good few years ago, we had flavoured embossing powders, so you like a scratch and sniff. And we had a peppermint one, and I'm sure we had a cherry one as well. So it just goes to show, you never know what's around the corner. Okay, so I'm going to pop this one on here, and I want to be able to see these leaves here, so I'm just going to overlap that, similar to their positioning. And then they've got our little cinnamon stick, and place some linen thread around it. And they tell you 12 inches of thread, or obviously you could just do your own thing. And I think you could either wrap it round or you could just tie it in a bow. I think it depends on what you prefer to do, really. So let's have a look. Yes, I think I'll wrap it round. Let's trim that little bit off. Okay, so I'm just going to re-center this so I've got a little bit more to play with. Like that. Let's move that out of the way a little bit. So I'm just going to tie a knot and then a little bow. But if you don't want to do a bow, you could just do a knot. Which I'm going to do a double knot. Stop it moving. Okay. Sorry, my big fingers are right in the way. So you can't see a thing, can you? Hi Tracy, hi Dee. Right, got it this time. So let's make that a little bit smaller. If I was doing a lot of these, I would tie them on here without cutting them off the reel, just so that you don't waste any excess. But I mean, it's only an inch or two. Okay, so this would be a great kit for somebody who's just started card making. And they've put this down here like that. So their recommendation is to put your dimensionals on the back here. So I'm just going to mark that here and here. So like that. So that it doesn't get in the way of the orange, basically. So one there. One there. And if you find that that dimension was a little bit too big, so it's just showing a little bit, then you could either use an edge piece, or I'm just going to trim mine down slightly. Like so. So I don't want it poking out. Alright, so this is going to go down here, like that. There we go, so far so good. It's very pretty. Okay, and then they've got the sentiment going across the middle and then attaching a couple of these as well. So let's have one that I actually stamped on the piece of paper. Hi Brenda, I hope you're well. So I've got this one here, Happy Christmas and a joyous new year. So this is a new Christmas card kit. Oh, we had that right over like so, and obviously you could position that, and in fact I think this would also work this way round, not just in portrait. So they've shown it in portrait. Oh, excellent Brenda, but I think it would also work this way round, like so, definitely. Okay, but I'm going to do this one as is, and they've put dimensionals on the outside here. Again, you can just turn it over and mark it so that you know it's going to go there, and you could tuck it underneath or pop it on top, entirely up to you. So just a reminder, we have our 15% sale today off all stamps in the annual catalogue. So not the Christmas catalogue, but there are Christmas stamps in there. But 15% off until 10:30 this evening. There we go. I think I'm going to put a little bit of glue actually underneath there. Let's have, just to hold that in place, I think. I'm sure it would be fine. Go. Okay, so if there is anything you want, then I shall be ordering at the latest at 10 PM this evening. So if there's anything you'd like me to add, then let me know. So they've got these little poinsettias, and they've got one tucked in there as well. There we go. And that is it. Let's stamp a sentiment inside. I think I'll do wishing you, what have I got there? Happy Christmas and a joyous new year. So I think I'm going to do celebrate the season inside, just so I've got something slightly different. Go. Let's find that one, celebrate the season. Okay, so I'm just going to stick with Poppy Parade. Now if you didn't use all of the elements on the outside front of the card, you could of course add some in here. So if you've got any spare ones at the end, or you haven't used them on all of the cards, then feel free to decorate the inside. Just want to make sure. It's okay. I thought I just picked up a little bit too much ink. Okay. Celebrate the season. There we go. On the inside, that's the outside of our card. And let's grab the envelope that goes with it. So this is the pre-printed envelope. These are all the cards. So I say all of the cards are the same design. And I definitely think you could do a mixture in landscape and in portrait as well. I think it would work both ways. You get the stamp set with think about that for a minute. 6 sentiments. Celebrate the season. All is cozy and bright. May this holiday warm your heart. Wishing you a Merry Christmas. There's the pun. Orange you glad. It's Christmas. I think it depends on your accent. And Happy Christmas and a joyous New Year. So nice sentiments. And that's it. That's the card kit. So the kit makes 12 cards. Be great for doing with a granddaughter or grandson, grandchildren, or as a family exercise to do your own cards. Entirely up to you. So I hope you like the kit. It is still available, £22. All of our kits are available while stocks last. The exception is the Nourish and Flourish kit, which is actually in the autumn winter catalogue, because that will carry through. But I hope you like the kit. Thank you so much for joining me. I have orders to place this evening to take advantage of the 15% off the stamp sets. We have our new weekly deals which came out this morning. You can find those on the website as well. And I also have my class in a box which has opened. I'm just about to record a brief video showing you the cards, so I'll do that actually straight after this one. I'll do it here in the Facebook group and then upload it to YouTube. So if anybody's waiting to see that, I've had a couple of requests, then I'll do that as a separate video. So stay tuned if you want to see that. And we also have booking open and still available just for our Let's Get Creative all-day event at the end of October the 29th. We're nearly 75% sold out, so if you would like to join us, then don't hesitate. Send me a message and I'll make sure you have the relevant information. So thank you so much everybody. Thank you for joining me. I hope you have a good morning, afternoon or evening, depending on when you're watching. I hope you like the kit that I brought to you today. It's called Cozy and Bright, and I think I popped a link on the Facebook page. I don't know whether that stays there if you watch it later, or whether it's only here when I'm live. So I'll have to test it out and see. So thank you once again. Let me just bring that up to the screen so you can see it a little bit better. I think you could also add Wink of Stella to put a little sparkle on any of those elements, but I do like this gold embossing on the card. Hopefully you can see that. So thank you so much everybody. Have a great evening and thank you for joining me. Bye for now.